This is Pinoy Real. I'm Katrina Sevilla. Today, I'm just super excited, just as our viewers and listeners are. We have Dara Plan once again at Pinoy Real. For those who would like to know more about Dara Plan and her very beautiful and inspiring story, check out our last episode, which is entitled Best Characteristics of a Woman in the 21st Century. You can also find my interview with Dara at the end of this video, so don't forget to click on the link. Hello, Miss Dara, how are you doing?
Hi, Katrina. Good afternoon. I'm doing great. It's nice to be invited once again. This is my second time, and again, thank you.
You're welcome. It is a privilege to have you. It's so lovely to hear that from you, Miss Dara. I just want to say that I really enjoyed our first ever interview session, which went live last May 14th. And again, for those who missed out the interview, you will find a link down below the description box or click on the suggested video at the end of this interview. So in this episode, we are going to be talking about this very interesting subject that just came out very recently, but is worth talking about. So our guest, Dara, is going to shed some light about this very important word for highly achiever individuals in any field of interest, and it is called grit. So Dara is going to help us understand what grit is all about. She's going to give us a clarity and fill in the gap in the concept of grit. And of course, share her personal view about grit. Correct, Miss Dara?
Yes, Katrina.
Okay, great. So grit is a pretty new word and was actually pioneered by a researcher named Angela Duckworth. And so, Dara, can you enlighten us a bit or more about this very interesting word called grit?
Yes, the first time, Katrina, I heard about this word, I was just curious about it. So I was like thinking, what does this word mean? So finally, when I got hold of her book, Angela Duckworth, she's a woman who is actually very passionate about her work. It's called The Grit, right? The book is just simply entitled Grit, and she came up with all these grit paradigms. So what does grit really mean? Okay, grit is actually a combination of passion and perseverance. So you might ask, what does that mean? Okay, passion is finding something that you really love doing and caring about it so much that you can't stop doing it and you stay loyal to it, probably up to your dying days, because you see people who has invested in their career for like so many years. I can come up with not just myself. I've been here in the business for 18 years and I'm still staying. That's how I see it. And we have a lot of celebrities, right? Like how do you call this? Musicians, like the Beatles, right? Even if they've disbanded already, some of them are still playing their music and they're still getting better each year, all right? And okay, so that's actually passion. So it's finding something that really interests you and staying with it, all right? Now, when you say perseverance, it's developing that passion. If you have a talent in, for instance, me, hair cutting and hairstyling and makeup, before I reached this level, I had to go through several stages. All right, so it wasn't simple. It wasn't easy. When I was studying in cosmetology school at the L'Oreal Academy, it was my first time to cut hair. Okay, where do you apply grit here? Just to cut that one length hairstyle and to do it correctly and to do it perfectly, I had to bend my knees for hours just to be able to really cut it straight. So it's really not easy. So perseverance here is staying on no matter how hard you'll be facing all these things in life, because you believe that there's something more in store. It's something deeper.
Right. Thank you, Miss Dara. So grit is actually almost like tenacity, correct?
Yes, it's tenacity, it's fortitude, it's bravery and everything. Even if setbacks happen, then you'll just stay on. Because there's something, okay, I meet a lot of students because I teach, right? I teach hairstyling and makeup. A lot of them would come in, and my first question is, so what is your goal in life? So why are you here? And then some of them will tell me, oh, because I just want to learn hairstyling. And some of them, you know what? They're really good at what they're doing. They're really born with it. They're talented. If I teach them once, I show them how to do a hairstyle, they can do it correctly. And they just have to refine it later on. But there are others which are having a hard time. But, okay, so even if you're talented, it's not really just the talent that's going to make you stay there. You have to keep practicing. It's a skill. And you have to better yourself every day, every month, every year. And also what I've noticed for myself, when I was first, I'm already a teacher, but when I was first teaching, when I was doing my modules, it was my first day to teach hairstyling, I only had like a limited number of hairstyles that I can teach. But later on, as I was teaching, like after 6 months or a year, I've noticed that I can just create hairstyles spontaneously. It's like I'm in this flow when I'm doing hairstyles. I just don't think anymore. Everything comes out just naturally. When I see the hair, the texture of the hair, I just create without thinking. It's so natural. So there.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so like if I see your hair, if you tell me, oh, can you do this bond because I have a corporate meeting, or I'm going to dinner for our anniversary. I already know what look I can create for your hair. So I don't have to think. I just need my tools with me, and then I can just create it instantly. And also, if you show me hairstyles from Instagram or Facebook or whatever or Pinterest, and my students would ask me, "Oh, how do you do this, Miss Dara?" I'll just look at it and then I just say, "Okay, just have a seat, and we'll just recreate that look here on the mannequin head."
Yes. All right. Going back to being a beauty guru, right? So from there, can you already check or see from the students who's going to continue on with their beauty career with doing hairstyling or makeup, just, you know, from teaching them? Because grit and talent is different, just like you said. There are people who are, you know, not yet very talented, but they're really working hard to learn. And on the other hand, there are also people who are really fast in doing things. They're quick learners, they're really talented, but they also did not last long in their career. So from your perspective as a teacher, can you already see who is going to stay in this industry and not?
Okay, the first sign is first day of school, they're not late, they're early. These are excited, right? They're excited to learn. And then when we do, okay, first thing I'll notice is, okay, this is the hardest and most challenging part is learning how to do blow drying because it's not easy. All right, when you see it in the salon, like how the hairdressers would do it, it looks so easy, so effortless, so natural as they're blow drying your hair, creating that full volume, right? But when you do it yourself, oh my goodness, you'll feel the pain on your shoulders, your hands, everything, especially if you're a first timer in doing it. And sectioning the hair neatly, that's also a challenge. So when they handle the blow dryer, I can already tell if they're gonna last or not. If they keep whining and complaining, then I'm like, okay, I don't think she's gonna last, but we're just gonna finish this class just to see. And then after, okay, normally, if you're just the first timer to do the blow drying class, it would normally take 2 hours to finish a mannequin head. But in a real client, that should take you 30 to just 45 minutes in reality, because you have a lot of clients lined up, right? Okay, so after that blow drying class, I call it blow drying class 101. So I'll give them a break so they can just, you know, freshen up and, you know, recharge a bit, recover, and eat their snack. When they get back, they're just seated there for a long time. I tell them, okay, can we start already? It's time to do another hairstyle. Yes, and you can see they're really patient, because if they're impatient, they'll just blow dry the hair whichever way they want to blow dry it, and they will not follow my instructions.
Yes.
So I and then, because normally I have the 4-day class, the longest, all right? So that would take like probably 6 to 7 hours a day with a 1-hour break. And if they overstay during their break, it means they really got exhausted. So they just want to finish the class, and also how they create the hairstyle. If it's not really that clean, they just do it whatever. It's kind of messy. So it means that they're just there to just finish the course. They lost their interest because, okay, this is the key, Katrina. It's not easy to work on hair.
I know.
Yes, you really need extra patience. So it's quite challenging, but if you pass the course with flying colors, wow, it's just a little more practice, and then you can earn money. You can turn it into a career, and you can be happy with it. If that is your goal setting, is also important.
Yes, I can imagine. I can just imagine, doing hair blow or drying the hair for 30 minutes to even an hour. That must be exhausting, but really it's important for you as a teacher to check who is really lasting here, who is keeping their goal.
And that's great. It's doing things well and staying on, right? No matter how hard it is.
Yes.
It's excelling in what you do.
Yes. They come together. Yeah, the grit, which is the character, and the talent or the skill.
Because the talent, you already have it, but you have to hone that talent if you want to last forever.
Yes.
If you want to last in that business for a longer period of time, for 20, 30, 40, or even 50 years. The talent does not ensure success, but talent and effort, wow, you can go to places. It can open so much doors for you, because you need a growth mindset for that.
Right.
You always have, just like what we mentioned earlier, what we both talked about earlier, it's developing yourself and not stopping there. In fact, there's a Japanese term for that. It's called kaizen. It's called continuous development and improvement. So that's very important. It's an important factor when it comes to grit.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Miss Dara, for clarifying what grit is really about. So I want to talk about, your favorite example or your favorite grit story in your life. Because I remember you mentioned from the last interview how you received the opportunity to study abroad. And I'm pretty sure that you did not just show up there unprepared, not knowing what to do, and etc. Can you share to us an example of your wonderful story of grit?
Okay, abroad. Okay, this is in the Australian College of Hair Design and Beauty in Melbourne. So this is like a 1-month course. This is for the professionals already. It's the master class for professionals. So all of us were already professionals practicing for 7 or 10 more years. All right, so we don't know each other. It was 4 of us sent there. So 2 of us had to study hairdressing. So that's coloring, hair cutting, and a lot of theories. And most importantly, creating your lesson plan. Because, I didn't take up education. I took up mass communication. So I'm not really that confident in creating my lesson plan. But when I studied there, creating the lesson plan became so automatic to me right now. All right. And there are 2 of my friends who studied makeup. All right. So they separated us. All right. Okay. We were there. There's a lot of discipline, which is also connected to grit. All right. We had to stay in one apartment. All right. We have to adjust to each other's attitude. All right. And we had to wake up at 6 or 5 a.m., earlier, 5 a.m. We only had one bathroom that we had to share. And we also had to prepare our meals before we walked to the academy, which took 20 or 30 minutes. And we can't be late. We have to be there 10 to 15 minutes before 9 a.m. Okay, after 9 a.m., there's a short break for like 20 minutes. Oh no, we don't have a break. It's already lunch break. So the lunch break is only 45 minutes and we have to rush back. And every day we have different classes. It's either theories or the cutting or the coloring class. And we end up, all right, Katrina, this is it. We end up our class at almost 8 p.m. So imagine from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And then we have to have our dinner and then again. Okay, and then we also had to do our assignments. We had assignments, right, which we had to submit the next day. So we'd end up sleeping at 2 a.m. and 3 a.m. and wake up at 5 a.m. And that happened for a month. And our classes were from Monday to Saturday. So our only day off is on a Sunday. And that's when we'll be doing our laundry or cleaning the apartment and everything. So there. So you really needed grit, all right? A lot of factors because it wasn't an easy experience for me, especially if you're used to having maids with you who would do stuff. And you have to make sure you get along also with your friends because you're sharing an apartment, the four of you, right? So yes, and we also had, okay, another thing, we had pop-up exams every day. And that's another thing. We had to make sure that we passed it. Or else we won't pass the, if we don't pass the course, then they won't take us in. So we won't be able to teach here in the Manila branch.
Yes.
So
That was a very intensive course, Miss Dara. Now I know what you went through, you know, to get, you know, that kind of training that you have now. But as a young Dara, were you also gritty or in different ways? For younger, prior to studying abroad?
When I was much younger, okay, so I'm thinking, I'm going back to the past. I'm thinking of what stage that was. All right. Okay, I found my passion really in hairstyling and makeup, right? Just like what I've mentioned before. And also, I took up mass comm, so I really wanted to be a newscaster first before I become a hairstylist and makeup artist. So before, I really wanted to be a newscaster after college. Okay, another example of grit. So let's deviate from the hairstyling first. So during summertime, I would practice my speech. I would copy my favorite newscasters on radio and try to take a video of myself also. And that was it. I had a vision of what I really wanted to be after college.
I got it.
And you know what? It paid off because I was still in college and I got into this radio station. And then after college, someone got me for a GMA network. So I was able to be a newscaster early on. So God gave me what I've been praying for. So I also worked for it. It just didn't happen overnight because I constantly practiced.
Right.
Besides the speech classes that I had in school. So practice is the key, and it's deliberate practice. It's improving on it all the time. So, okay. So I think, okay, can I name 4 factors which I think would be helpful when it comes to grit, Katrina?
Sure.
Okay. So interest. You really have to find out what you're really interested in, what your passion is. And we develop this through time, especially when we're kids. Remember how our parents would push us to take singing classes, dance classes, speech classes, all kinds of classes, right? And I realized that it's only through that you can find what you're interested in. And when I was a kid, I was interested in both public speaking and speech, and also doing my own hair and other people's hair and Barbie's hair, all right? Okay, so after finding your interest is you have to practice. It's called deliberate practice. Continuously improving yourself day in and day out. Right? The number three, you need a purpose. So it's not just why am I, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing it? Is it just really for myself? You know, when I became a hairdresser and we finally came up with our own salon here in Cavite, I wasn't really that happy. I was happy, okay, I'm a hairdresser, but I had to look forward, and I realized that there's something more to what I'm doing. And that's when I decided that I want to be a beauty guru. So I kept studying, I kept researching about hair, about makeup, and then accidentally, I was invited in Rustan by one of my friends who was a manager of Dermalogica brand. I'm sure you've heard of it, Dermalogica, right?
Yes.
And Murad. And Dr. Murad himself came to the Philippines. So I was invited in that event. I was seated beside my friend, and all of a sudden, she just, out of the blue, she just told me, "Hey, Dara, can you teach for Rustans?" I'm like, "Okay, so what will I teach?" And she goes, "Why don't you teach Fito?" Fito is a hair care brand of Rustans. Why don't you teach product application? Why don't you teach about the product and everything to our people, to our staff? And I was so stunned. I had no idea that I'll be teaching. I mean, for the first time, I don't have any teaching background. And, you know, I took the job. I stepped out of my comfort zone and I said, this is it. I've been praying for this. This is my first teaching opportunity, so I'll grab hold of it. And, you know, she sent me all the files and they were all in, wow, scientific terms. I had to convert them into layman's terms. So I had to do a lot of work. And you know what? It was a blast. I just didn't teach the staff of Rustans, but I was able to, they commissioned me to teach the different salons who would be ordering the products from Rustans as well. Like Crispin Britannico Salon, Lucy Britannico Salon, what else? I think it's Basement Salon as well. So I had such a great time. It's another dream that came true, Katrina.
Yes.
Okay, so that's number three, right? Purpose.
Purpose.
All right. Number four is you need to have hope. All right, knowing that, you know, with the purpose of like me teaching, all right, I believe I'm making other people's lives better. You have hope that the future is going to be a good one, all right, through what you're doing.
All right.
So.
Okay, great. That was such a beautiful story. Another wonderful story, Miss Dara, of how
story.
Yes, it is another part of your another episode of your story. But I would like to know, because now that we know grit is not a talent, it's not a luck, it's not something that just happened, and it's really about holding steadfast, consistent, and focus to that goal. Are there any ways that we can develop grit over time? You know, there are a lot of people who are still struggling, even adults. They don't know what to do. They don't know their purpose. So what's the main thing that they can do to, you know, slowly improve their grit and find their purpose?
Okay. You really have to find out what you're interested in. Interest is the key. What are you interested in? Is it music? Is it cooking? Is it making people beautiful, just like me? Is it teaching? And then from that point on, you zero in into that and then take some classes. Yes. And then continuously improve yourself. That's how I did it. So you can develop it from the inside out.
Yeah.
Right. So it's ferocious determination to improve oneself. So depending on your passion.
Right. So it's really like knowing what you want. You really have to know first your purpose.
It takes a long time. Like me, I didn't know that this is what I really wanted. I thought it was newscasting, but the schedule just didn't fit with mine, and the hard work and the late nights. I don't think I wanna handle that. And like what we have now with YouTube, like what you're doing. So
Yes.
yeah.
And do you think that it's also very important to surround yourself with the right company, right friends to really help you out, find your true purpose?
Yes, because they will motivate you. They will encourage you. They'll be your cheerleaders, right? And they'll help you improve on your craft because they can give you feedback so that you can get better in what you're doing.
Right. Wonderful. Okay, so do you think also that it is important to implement the concept of grit in our education system, like in the nursery, in schools, colleges, and universities? Because as what I observe, in the Philippines, especially in public schools where I, spent most of my, years at school, at that time it was not, yeah, it was not really implemented. But I know that there's change now in our system. So how do you think it's the importance of applying this concept of grit in our education system?
I think we should do that, definitely. Because, I've noticed a lot of millennials, I don't want to be judgy, but a lot of them, they don't really have that patience anymore. And like during our time when we had it, because there was no Wi-Fi and everything's instant nowadays, right? But right now, at this day and age, they should implement grit. But I'm happy because with the new educational system that we have here in the Philippines called the K-12, they now added more vocational courses like cooking or they also have beauty or cosmetology right now, music and others. So I think because of this, that you can already determine what you're really interested in. And from that point on, develop what you have. So grit should be incorporated for just to ensure your success in life.
Exactly. Because for students, not all students are actually interested in mathematics, although math is an integral part. As a student, we need to have some basics about math and science and languages. That's very integral, subjects. But some students also, they may not be good in those subjects, but they are performing very well in other things, in other skills. So I do believe in what you said, that we have to implement grit in the school more and more now that we have vocational courses available in the K-12. So that's very helpful, I'm sure.
I'm happy about that. And it gives others a chance if, they want to have a career after high school, then they can already start working, right? Or if they want to end up being working students as well, then at least they have all the credits.
Exactly. That's the best part, because right after school, they can easily find a job and they can generate money already, without having to go to universities.
That's true, Katrina.
Okay, so I want to jump to the importance of character and talent. This is a personal question. So for you, what do you think is more important, character or talent, and why do you think so?
They're both important, Katrina. Character and talent. Character is, for me, your attitude, how you view things, whether it's life or work. You have a good attitude working with your peers. That's very important. And even if things are not looking bright, you still see the positivity in everything. That's very important, having the positive mindset. Because honestly, with this pandemic going on, if it wasn't my friends, my family, or listening to podcasts, probably I'll go crazy. Right? You'll feel depressed and all. So, the attitude counts a lot. Because I remember I saw this, I think it was on Facebook. I saw this quote. It says, it's attitude will bring you to a higher altitude, right? Because the skills can be learned, right? But the attitude, You can't learn that it's given. It's given. It's internal, and it's hard to change. But you can change it if you want to, right? You want a better. So I think, okay, the skills. If you have a good attitude with the best skills, I'm sure you're gonna go somewhere. You're gonna be a great success in life. You're gonna go places. So the two works hand in hand.
Yes, that's perfectly said, Miss Dara. I also do believe, like what you said, they are equally important. This is also my personal take. And I just want to add that character is an important part of a success, just as grit is. But we also cannot underestimate talent and skills. Just like this study that I saw online, before we thought that the brain matures at a certain age. But according to the studies done by neuroscientists, the brain is actually malleable. So we can form it in different shapes. And so they suggest, the scientists, that humans can actually learn practically anything in this world. We can learn any skills that we want to learn, and we can learn something. That means we can practice it, and we can eventually do it, correct? Just like you said, that skills just can be learned, anytime, and character is very important. But what I would like to say is that learning should never stop at any age. That's why I'm so inspired. Like we always say, learn, 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 improve your skills. Whether you are studying to play a music, or applying a new workflow at work, or developing your self-confidence. And the good news is that these things, like grit and talent and skills and other positive things, can all be developed and practiced if we put time, focus, and effort in them, right?
A lot of energy
Yes.
and a lot of patience too. If it all boils down to your purpose and your goal in life. That's a very important determining factor when it comes to grit.
Yes.
It's having a vision and a philosophy in life. And it's not just, for me, the way I see it, it's not just benefiting yourself, but benefiting others as well. I call it the win-win thing. You do this because you believe that you can make people's lives better. So you bless them in a way, and you know what? The blessing goes back to you. Amen. So grit also goes, yes, amen.
Amen to that.
Yes, amen to that. And grit is also something that, even if you do things, even if you don't get paid, but it's really your passion, then you'll just do it. It's not just for the money. It's not just monetary.
True.
It's something that keeps you going. It's something that puts a spring on your feet when you wake up in the morning. It's something that you look forward to, something you're excited about, and something that you can see yourself doing for the rest of your life, as long as you can do it physically.
Yes, at first, really, nobody will want to pay you, but you just keep going, and people will find, oh, something is different and special.
Yes, I'm sure you know that because you're also a makeup artist. It's how we all start, right? But later on, because they see that you get better and better, they're the ones looking for you already. Yeah. Inviting you, and they don't mind paying you, right?
Yes. So, Ms. Dara, do you have any final word before we end the session?
Okay, all I can say is, okay, if you want grit and you want to be such a successful person in life, don't give up on your dreams. Have a goal, have a vision, and stick to it and persevere. All right, and always continuously, always learn something. Okay, whether if it's in your passion or you want to deviate from it. Okay, it's your staying power in what you love doing.
Yeah. Thank you, Dara Plan, for joining us today and giving us clarity about what grit is about. It's a privilege to have you, and I really speak life and blessings in every endeavor that you take.
Thank you, Katrina.
You're welcome. For Pinoy Real viewers and listeners, you can watch all the interviews at www.pinoyreal.com. Also, I would like to know, what do you think about grit. So it's is it important for success or not? Like, share, comment in this video, and I will personally reply to your message. Thank you for watching and have a great day, everyone.